Do you think there's a risk that the prince, who is now the king, that you know well, has waited too long for this role? Might there be a degree of rancour or bitterness now that he's finally king?
Cometh the hour, Mark, cometh the man. We have King Charles III. He has waited all his life since the age of 3. He knew his fate. He would be king one day if he survived his mother. I think we must say that, let's give him credit, it's very, very hard to be grieving in public with the eyes of the world on you. And I give him credit. He's made an extremely good start. That first televised address to the people, when he went out of his way to express love for his son, Harry, and his wife, Meghan, was a very good thing. And that prompted Prince William to make the call he had to make to his brother and say, come on, Harry, let's go down to the gates, let's meet the people. Also, the Accession Council, I think he cut an extremely dignified figure. And I think it's a very, very good sign, because it's not a question of whether he will be a good king. He has to be a good king for the continuation and prosperity of the House of Windsor and for our constitutional monarchy. We all are very fortunate to live in this country where a constitutional monarch is a very important bulwark, a defence against extremism, against dictatorships, and has been over the years. And I think he's going to be a good king. You mentioned, and quite rightly, and I think your summary worldview was excellent, you mentioned his previous life, his role as Prince of Wales, when he was writing Black Spider letters and he was lobbying ministers and he was pushing his causes, some right, some wrong. He was asked in an interview quite recently whether he would do that when he was king. And he said, no, of course not. It's a different role. He said, I'm not that stupid. You know, he said that so it was put to him. He has said quite clearly that he's pledged himself to continue the work of his mother, and what fantastic work she did over 8 decades, actually, because she dedicated her life when she was 21 to this country, her life, whether it be long or short. And we've all benefited from that. And I think he will do well. He's had a good apprenticeship. And the interesting thing is, obviously his reign is not going to be as long as his mother's. It cannot be. But a short reign can be very, very successful. Edward VII only reigned for 9 years. Queen Victoria died in 1901. He reigned until May 1910. But he gave his name to an era. It was the Edwardian era. Yeah. It was a golden age. He had a Derby winner. He was terribly popular. People were going on the Thames, smoking cigars, enjoying themselves. He went to France. He saw a beautiful French actress. He kissed her hand and said, Madam, you're as beautiful as France itself. And that cemented the entente cordiale. Yeah. That led, of course, to an alliance which meant that we were in the First World War alongside the French poilus in the trenches. And the Tommies there, you know, they said none of this would have happened if old King Teddy had been around, because he was the uncle of Kaiser Wilhelm II of Germany, and they felt that the king could have interceded to stop that. And it's very important because you said, has he waited too long? Edward VII said that he waited 20 years too long before he took over from Queen Victoria, and she wouldn't allow him to see anything. The Queen has inculcated him into the workings of the monarchy, not to the point of doing the red boxes and seeing all the secrets and so on. But we saw it. He and Prince William stood in for the Queen at the opening of Parliament. He's been ready for this his whole life, as indeed has the operation which we are seeing, London Bridge. I mean, it's all very well having a plan, but actually you have to put it into perfection. And my goodness, hasn't it been brilliant so far?
Hasn't it been brilliant?